When paramedics boarded a private jet in Dubai, they found two things: a female pilot unconscious on the floor and a syringe labeled HIV positive clutched in her hand. But here's the twist: she wasn't the intended victim. Someone wanted her co-pilot dead. And now, she's the one everyone suspects. At first glance, Alex seemed untouchable. She wasn't just flying planes. She was breaking barriers for women in aviation, commanding million-dollar jets while the world watched in awe. Behind the scenes, though, her life was unraveling. A forbidden affair with a Dubai sheikh. A bitter rivalry with her co-pilot. And finally, a shocking act of revenge that left one person fighting for their life and another framed for attempted murder. But here's the part no one talks about. Who really orchestrated this nightmare? Was it Alex, pushed to the edge by betrayal? Or was she set up by someone far more powerful? A man who could buy silence and rewrite truths? This isn't just another scandal. It's a chilling look at how ambition, jealousy, and revenge collide when power dynamics shift. And trust me, you won't find these details anywhere else. Not in headlines. Not in documentaries. Only here will you hear the full, unfiltered truth. If you're wondering how far someone would go to protect themselves, or destroy another person, stay with me. Hit subscribe now, because once we dive into this story, I guarantee you won't look away. Now, let's go back to the beginning. The moment Alex stepped into the cockpit for what should have been just another routine flight. Alex didn't start as a trailblazer. She started as an outsider. Raised in a small town where women were told their place was at home, she rebelled by chasing a dream no one believed she could achieve. Flight school wasn't easy. It was grueling. She worked double shifts to afford lessons, studied manuals late into the night, and endured ridicule from instructors who said she'd never cut it. But Alex had something they underestimated: resilience. By 28, she became one of the youngest female captains in her airline's history, a milestone celebrated publicly but questioned privately. Colleagues whispered about favoritism. Executives scrutinized her every move. And behind closed doors, Alex carried the weight of proving herself daily. Her success came at a cost: isolation, paranoia, and a growing sense that she couldn't trust anyone, not even those closest to her. Then came Sheikh Khalid al-Mansoori. Their paths crossed at a Dubai gala, where Alex stood out among a sea of polished elites. To Khalid, she was magnetic, a woman unafraid to challenge convention, much like him. Their affair began with promises of adventure and freedom, but soon revealed its darker side. Friends warned Alex about Khalid's reputation: controlling, volatile, dangerous. She ignored them. After all, hadn't she spent her life defying expectations? Why stop now? But relationships built on power rarely end well. As their romance deepened, so did Khalid's demands. He wanted exclusivity, loyalty, control. And when Alex hesitated, tensions erupted. A heated argument during a private dinner. A mysterious week-long disappearance. Rumors swirled, but nothing stuck, at least, not publicly. Enter Ryan, Alex's co-pilot. On paper, Ryan seemed like the perfect counterpart to Alex. Calm under pressure, dependable, predictable. Off-duty, though, their dynamic shifted. What began as professional rivalry escalated into personal animosity. When Ryan discovered Alex's affair with Khalid, he saw an opportunity to expose her vulnerabilities, undermine her authority, and perhaps even take her down. The breaking point came weeks before the flight. According to leaked texts, Ryan confronted Alex, accusing her of jeopardizing both their careers. "You think you're untouchable?" he allegedly wrote. "One word from me, and your perfect image crumbles." Alex fired back, threatening to report him for harassment if he didn't back off. The exchange ended with a chilling promise: this isn't over. And then came the night of the flight. Before we dive into those final hours, let's pause. Betrayal doesn't happen in isolation. It's a chain reaction. One decision leads to another, each more irreversible than the last. By the time Alex boarded that plane, she was already caught in a web of lies, accusations, and desperation. But here's the question no one asks. Did she act alone? Or was someone else pulling the strings? If you're still with me, and I know you are, you understand why this story matters. It's not just scandal or spectacle. It's about choices. About how far ambition, jealousy, and revenge can push us. About the moments when trust shatters and lives unravel. Stories like this don't come around often. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it now, because once we peel back these layers, you won't look away. Now, let's return to that cockpit, the place where dreams took flight and lives unraveled. What really happened aboard that plane? Who orchestrated the poisoning? And why did Alex end up holding the syringe labeled HIV positive? Stay with me, because the answers lie just ahead. It was supposed to be a routine red-eye flight from Dubai to London. Alex had flown this route dozens of times before. But this time was different. Tension crackled in the air long before takeoff. Passengers boarded without noticing the undercurrents, a quiet storm brewing between Alex and Ryan. To the outside world, they were professionals. Behind closed doors, they were adversaries on the brink of explosion. The first sign something was wrong came during pre-flight checks. According to black box recordings, voices rose in the cockpit. "You think you're untouchable," Ryan said, his tone icy. Alex shot back, her words clipped. "Back off, or I'll make sure you regret it." Neither gave ground. The tension spilled over into the flight itself, creating an atmosphere thick with hostility. Then came the incident at 35,000 feet. Midway through the journey, alarms blared. Oxygen levels dropped unexpectedly. Chaos erupted as passengers panicked, unaware of what was unfolding just meters away in the cockpit. When paramedics boarded after an emergency landing in Dubai, they found Alex unconscious, and the syringe clutched in her hand. A label on the vial read, HIV positive. But here's the part investigators missed initially. The syringe wasn't meant for Alex. Toxicology reports later revealed traces of sedatives in Ryan's system. Sedatives designed to incapacitate, not kill. Someone wanted him neutralized, silenced, perhaps even framed. And Alex, whether by design or manipulation, became the perfect scapegoat. As details emerged, the pieces began to fit together, but not perfectly. Text messages recovered from Alex's phone painted a picture of desperation. "I can't keep living like this," she wrote hours before the flight. "If he doesn't stop, I'll lose everything." Yet other evidence suggested she wasn't acting alone. Calls made to Sheikh Tariq's private number raised questions. Was he involved? Or was Alex playing both sides, using one man against the other? The courtroom drama only deepened the mystery. Prosecutors argued Alex orchestrated the attack to eliminate Ryan once and for all. Defense attorneys countered that she was set up, that the syringe was planted to frame her while diverting attention from the real mastermind. Witnesses contradicted each other. Evidence pointed in conflicting directions. By the time the trial ended, public opinion was split down the middle. And yet, amid the chaos, one question lingered unanswered. Why HIV? Why choose a method so calculated, so symbolic? Some speculated it was personal, a reflection of Alex's own fears about betrayal and contamination. Others believed it carried a deeper message, aimed not just at Ryan but at anyone who dared cross powerful lines. To understand the truth, we need to look beyond the headlines, to the hidden dynamics driving everyone involved. Relationships built on power rarely end cleanly. Betrayal leaves scars that never fully heal. And revenge, once unleashed, operates on its own terms. By now, you've pieced together fragments of this story. You've seen how ambition collided with jealousy, how trust shattered under pressure, and how far people will go when pushed to their limits. But the final piece remains elusive, the identity of the puppet master pulling strings from the shadows. Was it Alex, driven by desperation and fear? Was it Ryan, seeking retribution for perceived slights? Or was it someone else entirely, someone whose wealth and influence allowed them to remain invisible? Let's examine the evidence one last time. Because buried within the lies, accusations, and courtroom battles lies the answer, not just to who orchestrated this nightmare, but why humanity itself seems drawn to acts of destruction. Toxicology reports confirmed Ryan had been drugged, but not fatally. Whoever administered the sedative wanted him alive, incapacitated, and vulnerable. The syringe labeled HIV positive was a red herring, designed to implicate Alex while masking the true intent, humiliation. This wasn't about killing, It was about control. About sending a message loud enough to echo but subtle enough to deny. Phone records revealed a critical detail, a call placed from Alex's phone to Sheikh Khalid moments before the flight. Prosecutors argued it proved premeditation, evidence she coordinated with him to frame Ryan. But defense attorneys countered that the call came from Khalid's private line, suggesting he manipulated her into becoming an unwitting pawn. Either way, the timing was damning. Then there were the text messages. In the days leading up to the flight, Alex exchanged frantic messages with both men. To Ryan, "You're destroying me." To Khalid, "I can't do this anymore." Her words hinted at desperation, but also coercion. Was she acting out of fear? Or had she reached a breaking point where revenge felt like the only option? The trial ended in a stalemate. Alex was convicted of attempted murder but acquitted of conspiracy due to insufficient evidence linking her directly to Khalid. Ryan walked away with his reputation tarnished but intact, though whispers of scandal followed him for years. As for Sheikh Khalid, he vanished from public view shortly after the verdict. His name scrubbed from media outlets, his influence reduced to rumors. But here's the part no one talks about: the cost of survival. For Alex, prison became a different kind of cockpit, a confined space where every decision carried weight, every alliance came at a price. She served 5 years before being paroled, emerging quieter, harder, and more guarded than ever. Interviews granted post-release painted her as someone grappling with guilt and regret, but also defiance. "I made mistakes," she admitted in one interview. "But I wasn't alone." And maybe that's the crux of it. Humanity thrives on connection, but when trust shatters, we turn to self-preservation. Ambition blinds us. Jealousy consumes us. Revenge tempts us. And somewhere along the way, we lose sight of who we are. So what really happened aboard that plane? Was Alex guilty? Yes, but not entirely. Was Ryan innocent? Hardly. His actions fueled the fire that eventually consumed them all. And Khalid? Perhaps the most culpable of all, orchestrating events from the shadows while maintaining plausible deniability. In the end, this isn't just a story about crime or scandal. It's a mirror reflecting our own capacity for destruction. About how power corrupts, betrayal scars, and revenge poisons everyone it touches. There are no winners here, only survivors and casualties. As the credits roll on this chapter of Alex's life, one truth remains undeniable. Some flights take off with hope and land in chaos. And sometimes, the wreckage leaves scars that never fully heal. Stories like this, where ambition collides with betrayal, where trust shatters under pressure, are rare. But they stay with us because they reflect something universal about human nature. If you're still here, thank you for sticking around to uncover the truth behind one of the most shocking crimes in aviation history. If you haven't already, hit subscribe now. Because stories like this don't come around often, and when they do, you won't want to miss them. This channel is dedicated to exploring the untold, the misunderstood, and the unforgettable. Stay tuned for more.